Hi everybody, this is Rob and Kurt with Two Brothers Hobby, and today we're taking a look at the Ares Chronos CX 75 RTF.
Little tiny helicopter. In fact, this is the least expensive product we've ever discussed.
Well, there you go.
It's 40 bucks.
Milestone.
It's 40 bucks.
Yeah.
I skipped all the way to the end. It's 40
Yep.
bucks. We've seen a lot of mall kiosks selling little tiny helicopters, and usually people that are hobbyists, and certainly manufacturers that are serious about the hobby industry, cringe because it's a substandard product. It's not hobby grade. It doesn't provide a hobby experience.
Yes.
The flying itself. So you know, all it does is set bad expectations in people's minds. Like, oh yeah, I had one of those little things before. I got one for my birthday or whatever. So and so picked one up for me, and I just couldn't fly it that well, or you know, I broke and I couldn't find parts or whatever. Different story altogether. We've got a hobby industry manufacturer making a simple 3-channel coaxial helicopter. So it caught our attention enough to want to talk about it and get you familiar with it. Let's go over some specs real quick, and then we'll go a little further into it. The Ares Chronos CX 75 Nano Micro RTF has an overall length of 7.3 inches. The height is 3.5 inches. The main rotor is 6.9 inches in diameter. The weight is 0.7 ounces. The main motors are 2 micro coreless. The included battery is 110 milliamp 1S 3.7 volt LiPo. Now that's actually installed permanently inside of the aircraft. The charger is a 1S 3.7 volt LiPo that's built into the transmitter. The included transmitter is a 3-channel 2.4 gig. The onboard electronics are a 4-in-1 receiver, 2 ESCs, a mixer, and a gyro. And as I said, the price is $40 US. So it has a little headlock gyro built into it, which, you know, I mean, it has a little light in the front. And what we found is when we receive these, they're like, oh, okay, well, we usually do 4-channel helicopters or up, you know.
Yeah.
Coax is nothing new to the industry, but finding one that flies this well at this price point, I think it was a big surprise for us. And, you know, we thought about doing a full review, but, you know, this is a $40 helicopter with a permanently installed battery on it. It's $40. You're going to get so many runs off of that LiPo on board. You're going to get your value out of it tenfold.
Yes.
Go buy another one. You know,
exactly.
Buy 2. They make it in a yellow and a red. This red one is mine, and Rob's beat it up pretty bad. In fact, at one point he smacked it out of the air with his hat, which I don't know why he did that.
Do you even have that's completely out of context. You know
but
that.
you know, it comes down to durability, and I think it's something to talk about. You know, you actually blew the main shaft all the way through the gear, and it was just sitting there freewheeling it, and we were able to push the shaft back up to the gear, and it worked fine. So Rob's tested the durability and his piloting skills in general. Between his baseball hat and his piloting skills, I'd have to say the durability score is extremely high on these, wouldn't you, Rob?
I have no comment.
They're a 3-channel, which is, you know, if you fly coaxials and you have, you know, the heading control, it's on the right stick. And this is, you know, set up essentially for mode 2. But you know, very stable, very flyable helicopter. And the thing we found ourselves doing was playing with them over and over and over again. They're kind of like that good little bench or desktop helicopter. And Rob's flown the heck out of his.
Yes,
In fact, I think his is probably in better shape than mine, which never happens, especially with a helicopter.
Yeah, considering that I've never even flown Kurt's, but yet I've done all this damage to it.
Yeah, he chooses to do it from the outside.
Yeah.
But extremely durable. We have intentionally just kind of abused them, and we typically don't do that. But we wanted to see, what are you getting for your 40 bucks?
Yeah.
You know, what kind of values are really there? They fly consistently over and over and over again. They're extremely efficient. You get long run times on the battery, we found, and they're so inexpensive. You know, they're just a fun thing to have around. Now, for kids that are getting into it, you want to see they're interested in flight and helicopters, and they're like, oh, come on, I want a helicopter. Well, instead of going out and spending gobs of cash on something that they may or may not be able to fly, this is a great way to get people started off in our RC helicopter flight as well. So, and with the light, I think you have to sheepishly admit that you've flown these around with the lights off, haven't you?
I did one even better yet. I went out on a calm evening when I was staying up on the lake, and I took that thing to the top of the trees. And these trees were about 65 feet. And had I not had that light, it probably would have landed somewhere.
It'd have been in that tree to this day, right?
Yes, but that light actually, I mean, it kept my orientation.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they fly well. You know, this being a 3-channel, it has a small motor in the back to actually handle pitch control. So there's no cyclic pitch going on. It's a fixed main shaft, 2 counter-rotating rotor blades. And the thing I think that shocked me too was 2 things. One, it didn't, you know, something that's very common in a coaxial helicopter is that washout or toilet bowl effect. when you're coming down, when you're descending, you know, they usually want to do this washout. And it's turbulence coming from the lower rotor into the upper rotor, and it just pretty much throws everything off. These don't do that.
They don't do it at all.
It's really, really stable when they come down. Plenty of power for quick jumps up, for quick elevation, and good forward flight with a little tiny tail motor. And usually that's where these things kind of suffer the most, is you get this little funny wobbling going on these
what I found out with mine was, and just screwing around with it, is I would take it right straight up to the ceiling, chop the throttle, and let it fall to within about a foot of the ground.
And it could recover.
It would recover. All I'd have to do is apply power, just give it full power again to keep it from smacking, and it would stop right there and go right back up again. It sounds goofy, but it's a testament to how stable they are.
That's the key of a coaxial. Is usually they don't have good recovery characteristics at all.
And as far as, like you said, the washing out, you can fly that thing, which it has surprisingly fast forward flight.
It does.
You can fly it right straight to the opposite end of the room, crank that thing around, and bring it right back to you, and you don't lose any control at all. It's I've had a blast flying them. I'm not a heli pilot. Everybody knows that. As Kurt definitely doesn't make that a secret, and
I just want to make sure you remember.
Yeah, I definitely.
You're getting older, so you might, you know, senility kicks in.
For me,
I don't want you to hurt yourself grabbing like a 450 and think, hey, I can. Oh, wait a minute, maybe I can.
And by the way, the dog's doing a lot better than it was yesterday. Oh, we weren't even talking about that. But anyhow, you know, what I found for me personally, since I'm not a heli guy, I enjoy flying this thing. I really do. I've had a blast with it. And for a pilot, for a guy who's into planes and is used to flying the sticks with a plane, I think you can walk right into this and enjoy it. You don't have to fight that. Okay, you know, the different axes that you're not used to.
Right.
It's just jammer forward, turn it, and you go. And
yeah, I'd say you're not going to be able to, you know, without having that rudder control. It's you know, you do have differential just like any other coaxial, so it can turn left and right as you spin it up. You can get it to go left, you can get it to go right, no problem. What you don't have is strafing. You know, you lose that strafing ability with no cyclic. And then your forward and aft, as you see, you know, is the running of that little tiny tail motor. It's essentially always in perpetual forward motion a little bit. Just the way it's the way the mast is set up.
But you can hover it pretty
You can hover it well. You can come in for good landings, but you're pretty much always, it's designed to really be forward flying all the time.
Well, you'll find yourself turning rather than drifting back and forth and lining up to land. You're going to be turning to keep yourself in that approach spot.
Get that approach again. So we had a blast with them, surprisingly. And you know, to Ares' credit, when they called us up, I was like, yeah. I was kind of him-hawing around a little bit about it. He said, just try. I'll send a couple over. Just try them out. If you don't want to talk about them, that's fine. And sure enough, Rob and I both were like, oh man, we've got to cover these. These have been a blast.
Once we fired them up the first time, it's like, oh, come on, we have to.
You have an absolute blast.
Once in a while, something comes along that you just got to stop and say, all right, you know what? Throw away everything you know about calling it cheap, calling it this, calling it that, whatever.
3 channels.
Just fly it, and you'll see it. It's a lot
fly
of
and
fun.
play around with it, so it's a lot of fun. We've got some flight footage for you to check out on the Chronos CX 75. To find out more information on the product, go to aresrc.com. I'm Kurt with Two Brothers Hobby.
And I'm Rob. Thanks for watching.
Whoa, look at that, Rob. Coming for you. Oh, look at that strafing move.
Got to be a rubber band somewhere here.
It's flying around.
Oh, you're
come on,
in trouble
man.
now.
Don't shoot my. Look at this. You're gonna do even more abuse, aren't you? See it? See how you are? Ah, you missed.
You're lucky.